Hey everybody, it's Dr. David. I was asked recently if there's any new information about COVID and the vaccine during pregnancy. Now, of course, this was a very controversial subject when it first came out, and it's been over a year now since pregnant women are allowed to be getting the vaccine, so I thought it would be kind of interesting to take a little deeper dive. Now, there hasn't been any additional research that has indicated, or for that matter, reporting of any problems with the vaccine being given during the pregnancy compared to what we knew before. There was nothing that came out, and more so in terms of the blood clots or myocarditis, like we learned about way after the authorizations were given for the other vaccines. But we just really haven't seen any additional risk things that have come out for the baby. But we have seen continued research that shows that if a woman who does get COVID during pregnancy, there is a greater chance of having a preterm birth, or the mom being admitted to the ICU, or the baby being admitted to the neonatal ICU or needing a ventilator. And there has been some recent research that's come out that shows that that infants, now that there are some toddlers who moms became pregnant during got COVID during pregnancy, and they have been showing some interesting things, unfortunately, with some developmental delays, and that's something we need to keep a really close eye on. But in terms of a recent study that just came out that looked more at the immunity that's being conveyed for those women who do choose to be vaccinated during their pregnancy, some interesting came out, and I put down in the show notes a link to a very recent study on this. Now, they looked at all three of the different vaccines, the Moderna, the Pfizer, and the Johnson and Johnson. And they looked both as to if there were timings during the actual pregnancy, different trimesters, that there may be better protection in terms of the antibody coverage, but also, and very interestingly, they looked to see how the antibody levels were at the time of birth in the mother as well as in the cord blood. Now, this is really interesting because what's in the cord blood is actually what's being passed along to the baby. And of course, the more antibodies that are passed along to the baby, the more protected that the baby would be if the baby were to get exposed to COVID. Now, a couple interesting things about this, because yes, we of course we continue to know that Omicron does not seem to have the same type of coverage for the vaccine as the previous strains and variants did. But they did show that Omicron variants did get coverage by these antibodies that were produced, particularly by the messenger RNA. But they found some other interesting things too. They found that the antibody level itself for the mother was highest after getting vaccinated during the first trimester, if they were first trimester, but also during the third trimester. So I know, again, with people choosing to vaccinate, it does seem as if there is an advantage if the primary series is being done during the first trimester and a booster during the third trimester. That does seem to provide the best protection for the woman as well as pass along to the baby. But they did also find, for some reason, that if the primary series was given during the first trimester or the second trimester, that brought the highest the transplacental, the cord blood antibodies were higher than if it was just given the two doses given during the third trimester to start off with. Maybe that makes sense because again they were there longer, and the maternally derived B cells and T cells, which make those antibodies long term, that they would have been there longer. But that was interesting. So there you go. It does seem to be that there is an advantage being to the children in terms of towards the babies, in terms of the moms with the vaccines. Do that what you wish. Hope that provides some information for you. Have a nice day.